there was a lot of stuff happening on the record. I did a lot of playing of everything over and over. So
right on. And then your approach vocally, I wanted to kind of touch on that too, right? There's these, like definite, things people who love the genre, they're going to gravitate to. And then there's some unique stuff in there also that's kind of your own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's two guest vocalists on it who, bring in two very different dynamics that I think really helped. If it was just me screaming my head off the entire record, might need an ear break halfway through, but getting two other people in there to pop in and add totally different like colors of sound would really, spiced it up a little bit.
Nice. You can paint with a large, see, there's that thing again. I don't know if it's a kind of gatekeepery thing where it's like, black metal can only be this, like when Death Heaven came out, not to just bring up them for no reason randomly, but they're a band that triggers people either love them or hate them. There's very little in between, and I guess because they got very big very quick, but I dig them personally, and like I said, there's definitely people out there gatekeeping, not me and not our site as critics, but there's definitely some people like, this isn't the way wag their finger at you from across the keyboard or through the screen. Like, that's not black metal. And I think that's not black metal. Is not, it doesn't have to, like, first of all, we're not in 1987 or 1991 or 2000. This is a different era. Some of the classic bands are still doing great stuff. And I think there's a lot of interesting new bands, and even some of the legacy bands that weren't always legacy bands that are now become legacy bands. I think even they're doing inventive, cool stuff, and it's not always trad. It's not very traditional.
Yeah, for sure. I tried to cover, kind of try out new things, bring in different flavors, but also make sure that there was a lot of, honoring the past, honoring tradition. With that being said, you mentioned like Death Heaven, and I remember Liturgy was another band that got a lot of heads really upset, both bands that I love. But I'm fully prepared to deal with people calling me a poser. I figured it'll come with the territory at some point.
We've got your back, fuck them. And whatever, people are, sure. There's people. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be somebody who you're not going to please. And ultimately, you make art because you were interested in something and pursuing something, and then hopefully other people like it. And if people don't like it, that's good too, because you got a reaction. No reaction would be worse. Yeah. Stoicism and just like, I feel nothing. That's worse. I'd rather have someone hate than than nothing. But I only brought that up because I think that's just part and parcel of every new experience right now. And just this kind of internet social media world we have where everybody weighs in, and that's fine too. I think, people will like what they like, and, we have Metal Archives, and you have, Blabbermouth, and you have all kinds of things, but, we don't all have to operate in those worlds. So yeah, man. I like that you, I read it in the press materials, and shout out to your publicist, Stephanie, who's amazing. You originally considered making this kind of like a very anonymous project where like you were not referenced personally and you weren't going to inject yourself into it, just the person, Luca the guy. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the choice to then not do that.
Yeah, the first demo I made, it was totally my intention to just get it out there without my name on it at all. I think even on the tapes that I have, that I like self-release a tape of it, I think I'm just my initials are credited. It's not actually my full name. And it was like a little bit of, hat tip to traditional black metal stuff where everything was done under like, corpse paint and aliases and funny names and things like that. I kind of thought maybe that would be a way to approach it. And then also just trying to something totally new. Like I've played in bands for a long time, and I've never done anything that sounds like this before. So I thought maybe approaching it anonymously would almost like no expectations for what I had done, what I will do. So that was my thought on it. Also, like, it was my first time recording anything like this. Like, it was my first time making a record where I played guitar or like synth. So I kind of wasn't completely confident throughout the process. But when the final product was finished, it was something I was really proud of. I'm kind of like, I'm gonna take credit for this. Like, this is something that I can do and I enjoy doing, and I think it's something I'm becoming good at. So yeah, I'll put my name on it.
Nice. And success kind of begins in any level. You know, I know there's a thing about, you know, how many hours kind of makes you an expert at your thing you want to do. And I think success kind of begins when you get out of your comfort zone. So you definitely, you know, put yourself in a vulnerable space and made this awesome record. And then, you know, of course, you have the new single and a new video. The video is very striking and interesting. You know, there's not a lot of new ground done in this world of music, and it's really cool to see a video that's like, oh, this is some new shit, like something cool and new to appreciate.
Yeah, that was done by a good friend of mine, Michael Valera. I actually play in a band with him and have for many years. So you know, he's a person whose artistic take visually on music that I'm involved with, I completely trust. You know, for the band we're in, he's done all like the you know, like the artwork and layout since day one, and you know, he does it for a lot of people. And that was I knew he would come up with something cool, and that was also kind of exciting to, you know, as far as the label goes, you know, Jesse's in charge of the visual aspect of everything that they've done so far. So being able to bring, you know, someone from like my circle into their circle was kind of exciting. And you know, getting those minds meeting was exciting for me, and I think they enjoyed it too. So it was a cool thing.
That's super cool. Yeah, I mean, you know, like I feel like Federal Prisoner is a kind of label, just to track back to that for a second, that could kind of do anything. Nothing would surprise me, whatever they would put out. The stuff Greg has already done for himself, the fact that they're starting to put out other artists, which I think was all along the plan. Jesse and Greg have been careful to not put too much of a label on what it is and what it could be, because it could be anything, which is really, you know, there's a handful of artists and people capable of doing something like that, like a very auteur theory, where they're driving this whole thing where they see like in 3D, which is impressive and really super cool that they're getting some of that on you.
Yeah, it's rad.
Super rad. Just in general, because you know, I didn't get a lyric sheet. Do you want to just talk? You may not want to divulge this, but do you want to talk about like some topical stuff about the songs, or is there an overall concept that kind of drives the album at all, or your work?
It's I can get into it. There's not a lyric sheet because the lyrics are very patchwork. It's a lot of notes, things scribbled in notebooks. You know, each song touches on specific themes, you know, each one. But like, the lyrics are very unrefined, and I didn't want to like, you know, put those out there. It's more of like they're creating more of like a mood. It's almost like another instrument. But they do touch on specific themes. Yeah, each song has a theme. This is the first record. This is worth pointing out, I think. Everything I've done up until this point has been like based on like science fiction and comic books, like Dune books, X-Men, you know, the things that I've spent my whole life obsessing over. But this record, there is some of that on this record, but it's also like the first time I was like writing songs like about like personal experiences and feelings and thoughts like that. So yeah, there's stuff going on in there.
That's rad. Also my realm. This is also my domain. I love comics and fantasy and sci-fi. I thought even the band name, the choice of the band name, is kind of a deep cut villain from Fantastic Four, right? The Negative Zone, and there's like the cosmic ray gun that I'm gonna totally get people mad at me because I can't remember it from 30 years ago. But like, yeah, that's like a huge villain. That's actually a villain I'm hoping to see in the movies. Forget about like, I like Galactus, but like I'd like to see that, like a Negative Zone, deep pockets in space, wormhole, like blow out the mind. Like, yeah, a big bad villain is cool. We already had Thanos, you know, we already had Like we've had some big bads. Like let's get something completely mind bending. And I know we're gonna get like
And
Kang and stuff like that. I
yeah,
don't know if you watching Loki at all on
I
Disney?
am watching Loki. I actually got into it with a couple of my friends last night because I told them that I'm not like in love with Loki, and they're like, they think I'm blowing it by like not loving it. I love like a lot of the shit they're doing. Like I love they're getting to like like the timeline branches and multiversal stuff. But I think the show itself is kind of a snooze. It's like really, really slow.
Mm,
And I keep finding myself wanting more at the end of every episode. I'm hoping it like I hope the last two like really deliver. And I hope I'm expecting it to, but right now I'm just kind of like, come on, give me
right.
something more.
I love Hiddleston. And if you
Yeah, the performances are great.
you love any outlaw country music, he is a fantastic Hank Williams Sr. in a movie about Hank. And I think they've done a solid job. I think I don't know, like I love the story beats are phenomenal. Like the
Mhm.
story and the arc is incredible. I don't know if it's maybe not 100% delivering for me yet, but I have walked away from the last couple like a mouth agape. And I know that a lot of people like the problem. I think it was actually interesting that they ended up because of the pandemic. They did WandaVision first, and then Falcon Winter Soldier. It was supposed to be Falcon Winter Soldier first because like I think most fans relate to like a street punchy like soldiers and fighting and civil unrest and protesters and America's racist and all these things that can't Falcon and Winter Soldier completely nailed perfectly. And I think that's why Black Widow being like one of the first big movies back after this period of time, the one's going to explode because people are ready to see shit blow up and ScarJo like drop kick somebody, But I have loved Loki for the beats. I loved Owen Wilson. Yeah, and I figured that's your. I was like, with a name like this, and I saw the reference to X-Men stuff. I was like, he gotta be like my tribe. You have to be my
Right?
people
Yeah.
and love this stuff. Is I've been reading some really cool independent comics lately. Anything that's not like a traditional sci-fi comic book stuff you've been into that you want to share?
Um, I've I've been waiting patiently for Saga to come back.
Mm.
That's been one of my favorites of the past few years. I haven't read any new comics this year so far. Actually, like, uh, I've been reading like more nonfiction stuff. Like I'm currently like halfway through like all 900 pages of Shaky right now. Uh, but some of my favorite stuff recently in that zone, like I said, Saga. I like Outcast. I really enjoyed like Jason Aaron stuff, like Scalped. That's been a few years. That's another one. Jason Aaron's like Southern Bastards. That one rules. I'm waiting for that to come back. So I kind of like a lot of the Vertigo, like kind of dark, like violent noir stuff, I guess.
Nice. Do you do any gaming at all or anything like that to pass the time?
No, I'm not. I'm not much of a gamer in any capacity. The latest gaming device I have is a Nintendo 64.
Okay, that's yo, I like that shit. Yeah, I don't do much gaming because they would have to like drag me out of here like Gilbert Grape's mama. But I'd never leave the house again. Actually, the first game in a long time that I got excited about that's coming out is like a new version of Diablo from like, oh, I love the Gene Simmons cut, by the way.
Okay.
You know, it's like I pick on him and Paul, but it's also like the merch can't be any cooler. God damn it. I don't know which one it is. Yo, here's a random thing. Maiden is starting to get kind of like Kiss levels of merch in their grandpa years. It's kind of wild. Like I didn't know that I needed a Maiden cooler from Igloo for $50, but now I kind of want one for my Maiden beer. And it's just like, oh yeah, like they're doing a lot of wild merch. So it's like cool. What's like for an underground band, like what's a cool kind of merch thing you would like to do that would tie into your project?
I would like to do tie-dye t-shirts, tie-dye Annihilus shirts.
Yes.
I have, I'm kind of like secretly a deadhead, and I have a lot of tie-dye gear that I've acquired the past couple of years. It's a phase I never thought I'd enter, but here I am. And I'm part of the zone of people that like, have you ever like seen that Instagram account, Cool Shirts for 2069? I think
Yes.
it's like a dude from Sanswegebog, if that's how you pronounce
Yep.
the band. And it's like all Slayer shirts with bright tie-dye and, you know, Obituary shirts with bright tie-dye. I would like to have something in that zone.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little since you outed yourself as a deadhead.
Okay.
If I wasn't like, okay, I'm not a Grateful Dead fan. I grew up listening to their music. I respect them. I love Jerry's playing and Phil and stuff like that. But like, okay, how do you convert somebody that's like, I could not get into them? How would you, what about them could you use to change their mind?
This can go all sorts of directions. This is a zone I love talking about. Like I love given the opportunity to try to sell them on someone. I think a thing about them that hooked me, because I went my whole life thinking that like being into the Grateful Dead was the lamest, least punk thing ever. And I didn't like connect with them until I was in my 30s. And I'm really glad that I was able to, because they've kind of changed my life. Just like an excellent band, maybe the best band in like American history. The thing that grabbed me that I think other people like me can grab onto is like for those early like country rock records, like Working Man's Dead and American Beauty, they're trying to do like a Crosby, Stills and Nash thing, but they're all like, so they're like genuine acid casualties and they can't really sing and they can't really play. So it's like this weird, super like twisted, bizarre kind of bad version of it that makes that the outcome is just like so engaging and beautiful and powerful. And it's like we were talking about earlier, it's like super raw. Like these dudes don't have the beautiful voice, they can't do pitch perfect harmonies, but it's like raw and there's so much like heart in it. And that grabbed me, and I think that can grab a lot of people like me who think that, you know, being into the Dead is like super lame and super square. And from there, if you can open that door, you have so much to get into and in a life of enjoying really cool, genuinely weird shit that they do.
Nice. You have to let go of that major boomer energy kind of negative zone. I could never get into them. I had an older brother that followed them around, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna do the other way. I'm gonna go heavier and evil. But that's really cool. That would be one way to get people to dig them. I also love that you mentioned that like earlier you thought that was the least punk thing you could do, because I have always thought that punk, like black metal, is really the punk of extreme metal, right? For a lot of reasons, but there's a lot of, and I know that even the word punk is like, oh no it isn't, like, oh my god, don't say that, but like actually what punk is supposed to be, the rawness and the realness of punk, is what I feel like what black metal wanted to be originally. Like they wanted that middle finger musically that they were not hearing themselves, or, you know, Scorpions or whoever, like too catchy and too commercial and too fun and too sexy. And you know, black metal guys don't want any of that. Like, please don't touch me. don't flirt with me and don't communicate with me, at least back then, not now. Could also have been some socially awkward shit going on with some of those key figures in the scene. But yeah, fun that you mentioned that. If you make a tie-dye for your band in a chubby size, I will rock one. I have not worn a tie-dye shirt since I saw Pink Floyd on the Division Bell tour at Yankee Stadium in New York City. So like I would come out of retirement. I have not worn a tie-dye since. I was like, this is the peak tie-dye moment of my life, and I will never wear one again. And I probably still wore that shirt for a while because it was awesome. And it was like cow and pig print on the Pink Floyd, you know, like Pink Floyd Division Bell tour shirt. That was like literally, hey, boomer, you're not a boomer yet, but you're gonna be one someday. You're oldster. And I was like, oh fuck me, I love this too much. And then I was like, no, I can't. I have to go back and remember that I wear all black and scowl all the time with my long hair shit. So back in the day. But yeah, man, it's been really fun nerding out with you on all this stuff. I love to end these interviews with a wild card question. The one I have for you, the spaceship playlist, instead of the desert island disc, the spaceship. So Elon Musk or Bezos gives you a call and they're like, hey, Luca, we got an extra seat on the shuttle. Do you want to go to space? But you can only take, because we're limited in room, you can only take 5 records with you to listen to forever in case we get stuck out there. What are the 5 records Luca takes with him on the spaceship?
If I'm going to be in space, it has to be, it's all going to be space themed to like really push it, you know? So I'm going Warrior on the Edge of Time by Hawkwind.
Yes.
I'm going Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. I'm going Captain Beyond by Captain Beyond. I'm going Tales of Topographic Ocean by Yes. And I'm going Jupiter by Cave-In.
Killer, dude. Oh my God. I love all those records. Captain Beyond is hella underrated. I love Cave-In to pieces. And yes, I used to wear a lot of capes as a little kid. I love the progressive rock. Luca, man, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to hear your story and having you share things that, you know, most artists would not talk about and share in this kind of interview. So I really appreciate your candor and your frankness. You know, follow A Song from the Sky is coming out August 13th on Federal Prisoner Records. And Annihilus, man, what a great band. And people should really check this record out. I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised and open up some new doors for them and maybe give the Dead a chance. I don't know.
Should, yeah.
Give them a chance.
Will change your life.
They might. I'm not sure, but they might. I will take it from you. Thanks, brother. Thanks for sharing some time with Ghost Cult. We greatly appreciate the hangs.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.